Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back today to a brand new video on the channel. So what I thought we'd do today is go through and actually speak to you a little bit about my story so far. I've covered it in bits and places, you know, all over the stuff. I've mentioned bits here in one video, bits there in another video, and of course like in other people's videos in collabs and things like that. But I've never sat down and spoken to you guys pretty much from square one. My story, how I've come to become an entrepreneur, how I've managed to grow my business, pretty much from step one that's brought me to this moment in time right now. So if that's something that interests you guys, if you're a little bit interested to see how I've managed to build my business and where I've got to where I am today, make sure you stick around and let's pretty much jump into it. Of course, if you are new, make sure to subscribe. I bring out daily content, anything business related, social media marketing, anything like that. If you're interested in, you know, making money online, make sure to hit that subscribe button, of course, as well. Turn on that little notification bell so every time I upload, you get a notification, because like I said, guys, I'm going to be bringing you guys value every single day here on the channel. But without further ado, let's jump into my story. What I thought I would do is pretty much start from, you know, from when I was young, right? When I was young, what did I want to do? Did I always know that I wanted to become, you know, a business owner, an entrepreneur, things like that? In the beginning, when I was very little, you know, when you're young, I have no entrepreneurs in my family. I've got no business owners in my family, right? There's no one that I even know, friends of family or anyone like that, especially growing up. No one I knew owned a business, right? No one on earth. Not even like a mum and pop shop or a restaurant, nothing like that. No one I know has ever owned a business, right? So, me growing up, what did I want to be? Obviously, when I was like first, like young and stuff, and I liked football and things like that, I was like, right, I'm going to become a footballer. I was overweight and soon realised that wasn't going to happen. But you know, you could dream when you're young. From then, you know, when I got to probably the age 10, 11, 12, I always started to say, I want to be my own boss one day. Like, I never said I wanted to be a business owner. I just knew from day one, like when I first started to get my personality and, you know, start to think about school and care about things like that, I started to look at it and I was like, you know what, I just want to be my own boss. I don't care what it is, I just want to be my own boss. And that's something I always knew. But I never really thought of it as possible, right? Especially at 10, 11, 12 years old. I never thought, you know, I want to be a business owner. I'd always just look at it and be like, you know, I want to make my own money, I want to be my own boss one day. But I'd always still say things like, you know, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I have no idea what I want to do. What kind of realm it's going to be in. Like what, I have no idea, right? I know a lot of people who are watching this right now have probably been through that situation, whether you're at school, you don't know what courses to take, what, you know, lectures to choose. You don't know because you don't know what you want out of life. I was in that exact same situation, guys, right? It took me till 22 years old, 21, 22 years old to find out what I want to do with my life. So don't worry if you're in that situation. But, you know, when I was young, I was still thinking like, you know, I want to be a chef. I might want to be a chef. I might want to be a footballer. I might want to be, you know, an accountant, all that other stuff, right? But I always had these little entrepreneurial sparks in me. One example was, I mentioned that I was into football quite a lot when I was little. I don't know, you know, if you're in the UK, you know these. They were called, I think they were called match attacks. And basically what they are, is they're like stickers. And you basically get a sticker book and you can fill them all out of like all these players. You buy, it's basically like Ultimate Team but real life, right? You can buy packs and they're like 50p each or whatever. You get 5 stickers and then you've got to try and complete this sticker book, right? But it was for football in the UK. So what I used to do is I used to go to school and I used to sell these to my friends. So what I used to do is I used to have this little book with like see-through like holders in, and I used to put the stickers in. Any like copies that I had, ones I already had, I used to pop them in. And when someone needed that person to complete their sticker book or complete their team, I used to then sell it to them. So for example, say a pack, you know, a pack was 50p and you get 5 stickers, I'd end up selling that one sticker for like £1 or something, or 50p. Obviously I'm not making big bucks, I'm not sitting here like Gary Vee with 30 grand under my bed or whatever he was doing when he was selling his football cards. But, you know, I started to make a little bit of money. Another thing I did, quite funny, again, this was no real profitable business, but and I never had like a typical lemonade stand, but one thing I did always used to do was, it's so illegal, but I used to go online, I used to download songs, rip them onto CDs, and then sell them to my family members. So, you know, a CD in a shop's £10. I used to go online, buy these like fake CDs, which are like, you know, like blank CDs for like £1 for like 10, go online, download all these songs, rip them, and then sell them to my family for like a £5 or something. Of course, I was like young at the time, 10, 11, 12, they're more than happy to pay me for it. And another thing I did was, I used to sell chewing gums. I used to buy a pack for 40p and then sell a chewing gum to like 20p for my friends and stuff. So I've always had that little bit of entrepreneurial spark, but I've never been really sure what I wanted to do. I just always knew that I wanted to be my own boss. Anyway, fast forward years and years, you know, I'm in high school at this point, and when I was in high school, I was bullied. You know, I'm still a little bit overweight now, but obviously I'm in better shape now than I was. I used to be severely overweight. I was a, 14, 13-year-old kid, and I was like 15, 16 stone, like seriously overweight. I didn't take any care of my health. I was really antisocial just because of my lack of confidence. I was a massive introvert. I would never, ever, ever even make a phone call. The only person I ever used to like to speak to on my phone was my mum. I wouldn't speak to anyone. I wouldn't even call up like the takeaway to ring them to order a takeaway, or I wouldn't even answer the phone when people rang into the house. And it even got to the stage where I was so addicted to like playing Xbox and things like that. You know, there used to be family birthday parties, and I used to just not go because I was too embarrassed, I was too awkward. I'd just stay at home and play COD or play Mario Kart instead. So, you know, that was me, you know, the first few years of high school, and like I said, I got bullied for being overweight. I had a good group of friends, but I was, you know, never like really any best mates at that point. You know, I'm not saying this is not like a sob story. There's people that's got it much worse than me, but you know, I was bullied for being overweight. But I always had the most loving and caring family at home. My mum and my family, my dad, no one's ever had any money in my family, right? No one ever went to university, no one ever had a business. Everyone pretty much works like, you know, minimum wage jobs. But the beauty of that is my family brought up so much on love, right? Like the amount of stuff my family did for me when I was growing up and young, weren't necessarily sending me off on bloody holidays all the time, but we always did stuff, right? We always had the love that I got at Christmas and everything like that, birthdays, like it was just, you know, I just have the best family in the world. But we never had any money, and I think that's a part of where my drive come from, because I know what it's like to, believe it or not, have my mum sleeping on the floor because she can't afford a bed. Like, we were literally living in a one-bed place, and she was feeding me because she couldn't afford to eat. Like, that is a situation that we've been in before. You know, she would buy me figures, like, rather than big toys, you know, 30, 40 pound toys, she'd buy me like £1 figures from Poundland, and I was super happy with that. And like I said, it just proves that money isn't everything. I had the best childhood with my family in the world ever, the most loving, fantastic childhood, right? But I did get bullied at school for being overweight. Anyway, so fast forward a few years towards the end of high school now. Yeah, putting on a lot of weight at this point. I was getting really big, really lethargic all the time, really tired, addicted to video games. Like, I'm talking like addicted to video games. I had 50 days, no, I think it might have even been close to 100 days play. I can't even remember now. I'd have to go and check, but 50 to 100 days I think playtime just on Modern Warfare 2 alone, Call of Duty. I got to 10th Prestige several times on different accounts. I had 50,000 gamer score. Like, I just played so, I had like 10 days played on Skyrim. Like, I was so addicted to video games, right? So, you know, as you can imagine, all I would do was go to school, come home, play video games till late, eat loads of crap, never exercise. I got overweight, unhappy, had no confidence whatsoever. So, as you can imagine, at school, I was super lazy. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't revising. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And I'm like an all or nothing type of person. I'll either be all in or something, or I'm like all out of it. I'll either go to the gym and I'll smash it, I'll eat the healthiest foods, I'll work out 5 times a week, I'll go sauna and I'll lift heavy weights. Or I'll sit there, I'll relax in bed, and I'll pig out on like a tub of Ben & Jerry's. Like, I'm like an all or nothing type of person, same with my business. That's why I think I've been able to achieve a fairly good, I mean, I'm not by all means super successful, but you know, I've managed to start a profitable business in such a short amount of time with no money or anything, just because I've been all in on the business. Whereas before, when I worked at miserable jobs, I so hated them so much, I'd just be so out of it, right? But anyway, I was at school, so as you can imagine, I didn't do fantastic in my GCSEs. In the UK, they're called GCSEs. It's basically the grades you get when you come out of school. And I didn't do fantastic, but I did just enough, well enough, to be able to get into college. And I got, it's known as BTEC here in the UK. It's like people know BTEC as being like A-levels are what you go to if you want to go to university. You get a BTEC if you can't quite get into A-levels. I applied for A-levels and they told me in the interview, like, no, I recommend you go for a BTEC. So I went to college and I did a BTEC. At this point, I was still super overweight. I didn't really have any close friends. I was quite unhappy. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was broke. I had no money. I had no job. Obviously, I was like 18 at this point, so I didn't necessarily need a job because I was going to college. But lots of my friends have already learned to drive and do all this other stuff. I had nothing. My family still had no money. So what I would then do, this next part was like my epiphany type thing. It's like where everything changed for me. And it's where I met pretty much my whole friendship group that I'm with now. And again, a lot of you guys don't know this, I've never shared this. I'm super close to my friends. Since meeting my girlfriend, I've moved across the country from them, but I still see them very regularly. I'm going with a weekend away with them, actually next weekend. Like, I'm super close with my friends. But at that point, like, this was like 5 years ago now, I think, I met my friends, right? And these are all people who were into the gym, into lifting, like, you know, like running and things like that. They're all into health and fitness pretty much, and all into football, right? They all played Xbox and stuff, but not as much as I did, and they would always go out and work out and play football and all this type of things. So I got into that friendship group, and that's when I started to take my health a lot more serious. So I took my health a lot more serious, and this is why I learned a lot of core foundations, which has made me the person I am today. Like dedication, hard work, like smart work as well, like going into the gym and when you want something bad enough and putting in the work for it and like doing anything. Like I was running on that treadmill like a 16, 17 stone guy, super overweight, everyone looking at me, making sounds because I'm banging so loud, sweating, hurting so much because I'm running. But because I wanted nothing more than to lose the weight, I was like dedicated to it. So that's where everything sort of changed for me, right? Again, this isn't a thing about gym, this is about business, and I'm going to get onto the business in a second. But that's where I really started to distill, you know, hard work and dedication, structure, all that type of stuff, you know, like making things happen. Anyway, I lost loads of weight, I became more confident, long story short, I got a job, all this other stuff happened in my life. Life for me started to pick up, but I still wasn't fulfilled. I still worked a minimum wage job. And I'd always know that I wanted more, right? Like I said, I'm a type A personality. I've always got to be, I'm all in or I'm all not. I was in my minimum wage job. I was pretty miserable at it, right? I'd lost weight, okay, I got my health sorted, but I was still working a minimum wage job. I never had any money. I was blowing all my money going out drinking over a weekend with my friends. You know, it would take me months to save up for a holiday, and I love traveling. So I was just living like an average life, right? And I just wanted more. So again, at this point, I had no idea for a business or anything. I was always the type of person that was sitting there and I'd plan, like, you know, write business ideas down. But I was that guy, just like you've probably been in the past if you've wanted to start your own business. I was that guy that would sit there and try and think of the new Facebook, right? I'd sit there and I'd thinking, right, what's this new app that I can come up with? What's this new delivery box that I can work out that will get delivered? Like, what's this new next startup idea, right? I was always thinking of those things in the background. Like I said, I've always been entrepreneurial, but I never stumbled upon anything. Anyway, like I said, I went to university, and this is where my life started to really change now, and this is where we get into the business side of the story and where things start to really change for me. So, I went to university. Before, if you're familiar with the UK, I lived right down in the south. I lived in Devon with my family my whole life. And then when I went to university, I went to a place called Bournemouth. Beautiful place, right? It's just a bit more north, before London. It's on the coast, right? Beautiful beach, lovely place. Something changed my life here, right? And I met my girlfriend. Now, if any of you have followed the channel, you follow me, I feel like I've been super lucky with my girlfriend. She's absolutely fantastic. She supports me, she supports my goals, she supports my business, she loves to travel. She's like the perfect person for me, right? I met her at university, so without a doubt, like, she's just the most amazing thing in my life. And I met her at university, and that changed my life for several reasons. Again, if you're familiar with Ty Lopez, you know he always says health, wealth, love and happiness. At that point, my health was doing good. I was broke because I was a student. I was even more poor than when I went to university. Like, you know, I was broke because I was on student loan. My love life was just, you know, I just met the girl of my dreams. I was super happy. We've since been together like 3 and a bit years now. And then number 4, happiness. I was super happy, right? I had no money, but I was at university. I met loads of new people. I moved across the country. I was learning all these life skills, like how to cook, all this other stuff. Life was good, right? So I'd got a couple of the areas sorted out. Like I said, my health was okay, my wealth was poor, my love was good, my happiness levels were good, right? But money was still something that I was really struggling with. As a student loan, as a student, you get a student loan. If you're familiar with how much money that is in the UK, I got given about £7,000 a year, and that had to cover me for all my bills, all my food, like everything, like all living expenses for a year. 7 grand. I had to pay bills. I had to pay rent. I had to pay food. I had to live. I had to have a life, like with 7 grand a year. So I really start to learn, you know, how little money it actually takes to live, and I started to, you know, get better with my finances. But it meant I never had any money. So, you know, I was doing my course, always still wanting more at this point. Again, I went to university because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Looking back, I'm now in 50 grand's worth of debt with it, and I never got a degree. I'm going to speak to you about now. But I dropped out of university. I was putting all this effort in, doing all this stuff for a business degree. And I did a business degree because, as you can imagine, I've always wanted to have my own business. At this point, I always knew I wanted to have a business, but I just didn't know what. So I was like, right, let's just get a business degree. I started doing it, I realised the things they were teaching you were flipping so just not relevant to actually starting your own business. They teach you just crap that's so not important, guys. Like, I'm telling you now, it's not important, some of the stuff that they teach you. So I was super unfulfilled again, always wanting more. Now, I dropped out, right? And I dropped out. When I dropped out, I had no other job. I still had rent to pay. I'd spent all my student loan. I was in a bit of a crap situation. So what I had to do is I had to actually go and get myself just a regular job. Before I came to uni, I was working at a supermarket called Co-op. So because I already had previous experience working for that shop, and there was literally just down the road from where I lived, there was a Co-op who were hiring, luckily enough at the time. I went in, as you can imagine, I got the job straight away, no questions asked, pretty much didn't even have an interview. I went in there, went in and just had a chat with the manager, and he gave me the job right away because I had the experience. But obviously I was back at square one then, and I made an agreement to my friends, my family and everybody that I'm only dropping out because it's the course. I was just going to change course. So I think I dropped out in like January time, or like maybe February. I think it was about February, March time I dropped out. And this was 2017, hang on, no, not last year. This was 2016, okay, this was 2016. So February 2016, I dropped out, and then I reapplied for another course in accounting to start in September. So I had from February till September to do something with my life, to pretty much get a job and tide myself over until I start my new course. So I got a job, and again, as you can imagine, pretty soon I was super unfulfilled, but I knew that, you know, I've got this course coming up in September, that'll be fine. So I just worked and worked and worked. Right guys, so let me show you this on the note, right? So it's getting to January, it's January 2018 at the time I was filming this. Because of the date I started my business, I've got to file my tax returns for last year. And because 2016, like I said, I had a job for 4 months, I have to declare obviously what I earned in the job as well as what I earned from being self-employed. So I want to just quickly show you guys this for a little bit of motivation. Now, I don't know what I'm allowed to show you. I think I'm allowed to show you all of this. Bloody hell, I'm just going to show you anyway, I think it's fine. Now, if you can take a look at just the top line here, right? Can you guys see the dates and how much money I earned? So, I was there from March until, January, February, March, all the way until August. So I was there for 5 months. And in the 5 months I was there, working pretty much full-time, doing night shifts, like getting paid premiums for night shifts, weekends, like working 4 or 5 days every single week, being miserable, doing overtime. I earned £3,992, right, for working 5 months. Now guys, this isn't a video about earning and all that stuff, but this month in my business, I'm probably going to do anywhere from £6,000 to £7,000 in a month. So that's probably, for me now, that's about 2 to 3 weeks earnings. And it took me 5 months to earn. So that's a little bit of motivation for you guys. That was only last year as well. But anyway, that's not what this is about. Just a little bit of motivation for you, how quick things can change. But yeah, so I worked at that miserable job all the way until, as you can say, August. I was due to start my course again, and me and my girlfriend saved up some of that money there as well, and we went to Bali. And then I went to Bali for 2 weeks with her, had the most flipping amazing time in the world. And whilst we were out there, we realised 100%, like, I realised I couldn't come back and just get back into that job. I knew I was starting uni again in the following month, but I was like, you know what, there's no way on earth I'm coming back to that job. I realised what life could be like, right? Bear in mind, we were out there on a budget. I didn't earn any good money. I think we took, the whole trip cost us just over £1,000. You know, it's Southeast Asia as well, so all the food was super cheap, but we had the best time, and we realised, like, we wanted more out of life. Why would I go back and work just a normal regular job when I could have my whole life could be travelling in places like Bali, and just like, that was, for me, that was like another big changing point where I was like, right, things need to flip and change ASAP when I come back. So I sat down, just relaxing, right? We were on the beach, chilling there, in Gili Trawangan. It's like a beautiful island, like, if you ever see pictures of Bali with like the beautiful blue sea and white sand, it's probably Gili. We were sat there in Gili, right? We had our drinks, we were just chilling. And what I did is I got out a notepad and I thought, right, enough of this crap saying I'm going to start the next Facebook or going to start the next flipping Amazon or the next Gray's food delivery company. Like, it's not going to happen, right? I realised I need to make a business where I offer someone a service, because that way, if I offer a service-based business, I can get, it's just a case of going out and getting work. So at that point I was like, right, I need to do something, anything, where I can just work from online. Like, I need to figure something out. I need to have my own business. I can't go back and work that crappy job anymore. And I knew uni was coming up, but I was like, you know what, like, I'm going to be willing to drop out again. If I can get something that works, let's flip and do this. So I sat down, and I highly recommend any of you guys, you know, if you're watching this channel now, hopefully you realise social media marketing is pretty much the best business model out there, as well as personal branding. But especially as far as, you know, starting, it takes no upfront cost. So if you're watching this, hopefully you're not in this situation. But, you know, if you want to build a business around your passion, I recommend doing what I did there, right? So at this point, I had previous experience. I had another YouTube channel that had like 15,000 subs. I've always been into social media. I had a YouTube channel ages ago when I was like young, playing Mario Kart, doing my video game stuff. So I sat there and I thought, right, what are my hobbies and what do I enjoy doing? Because once I've realised that, how can I turn it into a business? So I sat and I made this big list of things that I really enjoy doing. And that included, and things that I knew how to do as well. So that included things like video editing, included things like YouTube, social media. And at this point I had no idea how I could make a business out of it. So then, as you can imagine, I wrote down all these ideas. And then I went onto the internet and I searched jobs for YouTube, like jobs that you can do with YouTube, like social media jobs. And that's when I found out about social media marketing. And then when I got back from the trip, like I said, I really started to learn more about social media. But at this point, this was, again, September 2016, and I didn't start my business until the end of March, early April 2017. So what I did, I came back from Bali, and I quit my job because I knew I was starting uni again next month. So all of this time, I'm sitting here, you know, started making YouTube videos because I realised, you know, I enjoy making YouTube videos. Let's see if I can make that blow up. I did all this other stuff, and I started uni again. And I realised accounting was so much worse than my business course before. I was flipping miserable, right? And I tell you what, guys, I was not turning up. And I want to share this other thing with you as well, because, again, I'm not proud of it, but this is something I did. I had a friend at the time who was on my course, and this is really bad. I don't recommend doing this, but guys, I'm going to be honest with you, right? This has got to the stage it got to. An assignment was due tomorrow. I think it was like a 2,000 word assignment or something. I hadn't even started it. I was miserable. I did not flipping care about my course. Again, type A personality. I'm all in or I'm not. I was not in at all. I was so set on this new business stuff that I was like trying to make everything work that I literally just didn't care about my course. I had an assignment due the next day. I messaged my friend and said, look, I'm just finishing off my essay. Do you mind sending over your essay so I can take a look? And he was like, yeah, sure, I don't mind. Send it over to me. I changed the layout of it, I changed the name, and I submitted the essay exactly the same as his. I just changed the layout. He had named the file author by the name of the guy, and then I got an email 2 or 3 days later saying, why have you submitted the exact same work as this guy, and why is it the same author as him? I didn't get thrown out, thankfully, but that was really, really bad. I almost got thrown out. I had to resubmit the essay, I had to go back and write it all myself. Really stupid mistake, but that's how not into my course I was. Like I said, from day one, I'm all in on this business. I was going to make it work no matter what. Like, I lived and breathed, like, just business and stuff like that, and I knew I had to make it work. So, you know, fast forward over the next few months, I do loads of courses, I read loads of books, I learn as much as possible about social media. At this point, the social media marketing stuff from Ty is just started coming out. So I started seeing all that stuff. I never actually paid for his course, but all these other videos started popping up on social media, reviews of his course. And then all these other YouTubers started doing social media marketing stuff. But at this point, I was a bit more confident now, but I wasn't as confident as I am today. But I was more confident, but I still really didn't want to pick up the phone, right? That's one thing that really scared me. There's people saying go door to door, pick up the phone. And I really didn't want to do it. Like, the thing is, I was willing to, right? I was like literally going shopping to get a nice suit and stuff to go out for door to door. I started finding all these businesses for, you know, who I can cold call, all that stuff, right? But one day, what happened, again, this was in March, I stumbled across a website called Upwork. And it's literally something as simple. I think I Googled how to make money online or something like that. Or like how to get video editing jobs or something online. And I watched this video and it spoke about Upwork. So what I did is I created a profile for Upwork. And I mentioned earlier about my girlfriend, you know, being super supportive of what I did. She could tell how miserable I was, right? I sat there and I had I had a loser mindset, guys. I'm not going to be afraid to admit it, right? I was sat there like, oh yeah, but I'm just going to apply for these jobs and no one's even going to reply. Like, you know, I've got no experience. Like, no one's going to reply to me, right? She said to me, she's like, Brad, stop it. She was like, you're miserable. Like, what have you got to lose? Bloody apply for the jobs, right? Just apply for some jobs for me, please. So I was like, you know what? I will. Within 24 hours, guys, I had someone reach out to me wanting to set up a phone call. Again, I was super bloody nervous. I hopped on the phone call. Within 24 hours of applying for a job, I got a client for £500 a month, right? Doing what I loved. Doing what I bloody loved. Posting on social media for them. Doing very basic video editing. I'm talking just like cuts. And then uploading it to YouTube. You know, doing tags and stuff for YouTube. Like that. £500, like literally closed overnight. Within 24 hours. Done, right? And I was like, hang on a minute. That's what I used to earn in half a month's work, working for my old minimum wage job, which I was miserable in. And I've just earned that in 24 hours. And then again, within another 24 hours, 48 hours, I got another guy reach out to me. I hadn't applied for any more jobs. I think I only applied for like 10 jobs. Another guy reached out to me. Boom. Another £400 a month client, done. £900 a month coming into my account within the space of 2 to 3 days, right? All of a sudden, I built up a full-time income doing what I loved, right? Now, again, I don't recommend this to you guys, but at this point, I was £1,500 actually in my overdraft. I started getting these clients, right? 2 clients, and I realised how simple it was. I had a decision to make. I could either stay at uni and be flipping miserable, get more in debt, or I can flipping triple, double down, work my flipping arse off and make this work. And that's what I decided to do. My girlfriend was behind me every step of the way. She knew how miserable I was at uni. She knew the fact that I copied someone else's work. She knew that I wasn't going in and I was getting marked absent for everything. She knew how miserable I was when I worked at my retail store. So she said to me, look, Brad, I'm with you every step of the way, drop out. So I dropped out, didn't tell my mum, well actually no, that's I don't know if I did actually. I think I dropped out. And then I made a phone call to my family. I made a phone call to my mum, my dad, to everyone. My mum was actually really supportive. She's like my girlfriend. She knows what I'm like. She knows this is what I've always wanted and she'd support me 100%. Other people in my family, pretty much everyone else in my family thought it was a dumb idea. Well, not even just that. My friends, like everyone apart from my girlfriend and my mum, pretty much everyone else in my life were like, you're stupid for dropping out. At this point, I was earning like £900 a month. Like the clients that I currently had, I had £900 a month coming in, right? The next week, I applied for more jobs and applied for more jobs. Anyway, guys, within the space of like 7 days, I think it was, I managed to get $4,000 a month in recurring clients. And obviously that didn't mean within the week, all of a sudden £4,000 dropped in my account. No, of course it didn't. But with the clients I had, that was $4,000 a month in recurring income, right? Within the space of like 7 to 10 days or something it was. It was absolutely nuts. So in the UK, if you get a job and you get a degree, and you graduate, an average graduate salary, if you come in off a graduate, if you get like a good degree, like a 2-1, and then get a job, an average starting salary for a graduate is like 19 to 21k, and if you've done that, that's like really good a year. If you've done really well, you can push maybe 30k a year. Like if you did like London, like you got a really good one. I just earned 4 grand, like £3,000 in my first, like straight away within a week, and I was like, hang on, that's way more than I'd earn graduating, getting a graduate job and all this stuff. And I really started to realise the power of social media, realise the power of, you know, business, and actually how much money there is out there to get, and how we're all sold on, like, you know, just get a job for 21k a year, you'll be happy, get a house, do all this stuff. I realised, hang on a minute, these numbers that they're plucking out the air, these minimum wage jobs, like, that's just what they tell you guys, like, because, you know, the business owners are getting way more money than that. That's just what they pay you, because that's what the cost of lifestyle is. But I realised how easy it is to make money online. So, obviously, like I said, I dropped out, and it was like do or die for me. It was all or nothing. Of course, I tripled down. I made a stupid amount of mistakes. Obviously, I made a ton of mistakes along the way. So many mistakes now. And then fast forward, you know, say 3 or 4 months, I was doing even better now. I had loads more clients. I'd learned the ins and outs of everything. Just on this note, this isn't what this video is about, but I just want to say, when I got my first client, because I gave up Facebook for a year, because, like, well, I gave up Facebook in total because basically it was taking up too much of my life, so I gave it up. When it came to me writing a Facebook post for my first client, I didn't even know how to do it, guys. So don't worry about results so much in the beginning, but focus on getting clients. But anyway, fast forward a few months, trial and error. I was doing all the work myself, but I had a business going. It was profitable. I was earning more money than I would if I worked at just like a normal job, like a graduate job. I was earning decent money for my age anyway, especially for the world we live in. Now so much I'm like I wasn't even earning hardly anything, but compared to a lot of people in that at my age, like I was earning good money, more than I would in a job. And life was good, right? Life was good. I went on a couple of holidays throughout the year. You know, I was happy. I was working from home, but you'll realise this as an entrepreneur, you start to get complacent very quickly. Well, at least I did, because I realised how easy it was to make 4 grand a month. I was like, right, I need to start scaling this up. But I didn't know at all how to get there. So my business grew and grew and grew. It was doing fairly consistently, not massively, but it was just growing consistently month to month. Life was good. I was enjoying my job. I had more free time. I was working from home. Then I get towards September, October time, and I stumbled upon this strategy, right? Guys, like, you'll have these moments in business and in life and other aspects of life where things just like, all of a sudden things are like this and then they fall into place. Everything just like falls into place at the same time. September for me, October time, things just fell into place to me. Like everything just fell in, right? I started to outsource my business. I stumbled upon this strategy, how I could get clients super easy. The way I was applying for jobs and getting clients, like I found a way that meant my replies and the amount of prospect, like everything just flipping fell into place for me, guys. And then all of a sudden, I started to be able to get clients super quickly. I've spoken about this in one of my other videos, but it got so good that within the space of a week of just using this strategy, I got £2,500 worth of new clients within a week, right, of just doing this one strategy, which is repeatable, which what I've been doing every day in 2018, hence why I've already got 5 new clients this year, and it's only what, 8 days into the year, I've already got 5 new clients. Guys, it's just flipping nuts, this strategy I fell upon. But business started to go well, and then unfortunately, I've said this before, my nan passed away in November. So business started to really like skyrocket it. Things were getting outsourced, like my business started to run more on autopilot. I started to get these new clients, and boom, the biggest, worst news I could ever have hit me right here, right? And as you can imagine, I'm a huge family guy. Business plateaued. Luckily, I didn't lose any clients in that period, but I didn't gain any new clients. Business plateaued because at the end of the day, family's more important than anything for me. So I just had to be with my family at that point. Like, I didn't even care. Literally, I was at the stage where I could have lost all my clients tomorrow. Did not care in the slightest. I would not have cared. Was back down to be with my family. Really tough time. Then once that had sort of, you know, everything of that happened, it was Christmas and New Year's, and then going into New Year's now, I started to replicate that exact same strategy, and that's meant, guys, like I said, I've already got 5 new clients within the first week of January. I've got another literally 7 or 8 potential leads. I'm just setting up phone calls with them. because the way I get clients, it's super warm. All the clients are super warm leads. It's very easy to close them, which means potentially, you know, I'm looking at, if I carry on the way I'm going, I'm looking at potentially a minimum, like a minimum. If I do bad, I've got 10 new clients this month. If I do good, I've got 20 new clients this month. 20 clients in a month, guys. And I can outsource that. I've got systems. It's like my whole business is so automated now that it runs perfectly. So again, this isn't a 20, I've already done a 2018 goals video. This year I want to make £250,000. So, you know, it's quite nuts to say that now. I think that could even potentially be more than that, but my goal is to make 250k this year in pounds. And that's pretty much how, you know, this is my story up until now. You know, I've shared everything with you. I know this has been a longer video, but I wanted to sort of speak to you about how, you know, my upbringing and, you know, getting bullied and all that other stuff, like, you know, being overweight, going into the gym, how every of that, like, you know, the entrepreneurial stuff that I did when I was young, how all of that sort of made me into the person I am today and brought me to the point to where, like I said, this year, hopefully I'm going to make £250,000. Could potentially be more. It might be a little bit less. If I do worse, you know, I'll be gutted, but I think it could be more. But that's brought me to the point I am now, where, you know, again, this isn't like an income report, but my business this month is going to do very well. It's going to be my best month in business. But not only is it going to be my highest paying month in business, it's actually going to be the month where I've done the least work for my business. I'm not saying it's going to be the month where I've done the least work in total, because I'm focusing more on other stuff, other ventures now and that as well, such as the personal brand, the coaching, and all that other good stuff. But it's still, you know, it's going to be the month that I've worked less than ever in my business, and the month where I've made the most money. And I'm on for a big year this year. Mindset's changed, everything's changed. You know, I'm reading more books than ever, I'm doing more courses than ever. This year is just going to be the year I'm taking care of my health again. But that is my story, guys. You've had it. There's nothing else for me to tell you. That's pretty much everything. You know I love my family. You know I love my friends. I've got an amazing girlfriend. Business is going well. And I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I've got so, for me right now, but I still feel I've got so much to achieve. I've still got so far to go. But, you know, that's brought me up until this point. Everything I've told you in this video, that is my story. And again, guys, for me, I feel like I've still got, I feel like I've achieved nothing, and in the big scheme of things, I've achieved literally nothing. But sometimes it's good to be grateful and look back on how far you have come. Like I said, this income thing that I showed you earlier, that was literally the £4,000 that I earned in 5 months of being miserable. The fact that, you know, I make that in less than a month now, in a few weeks, like, it's nuts to see how far I've come in that respect, even though in the big scheme of things, I feel like I've achieved nothing, and I haven't, compared to some people. But that is my story up until now, guys. I wanted to share this because I wanted to really let you guys know more about me. I want, you know, this channel, I want to build a family. I want to have a group of people here who are all like-minded. And I think it's only fair that, you know, if you're watching me on a daily basis, that I tell you a little bit about myself. But yeah, if you have any other questions about anything, you want to know anything else, please leave the comments in the section down below. On the note of this as well, I mentioned about the strategy that I now use to get clients. If you are at all interested in that, guys, I have got a couple spots left open on my coaching program. I can't take on everyone, unfortunately, because obviously coaching is time for money. I've got other stuff to do, but I do have a couple of spots open. If you're interested, some of the students that I've got already are doing fantastic. They're getting clients, they're getting leads every single day. So if you're interested in that, there's a link down below, or just send me a DM on Instagram. I know I can start helping you guys and show you some of the same stuff that, again, has led me to get to where I am today. I hope that helped. Helped, you know, you learn at least something, get a bit of motivation maybe, and learn a bit more about myself. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Apologies for being such a bloody long video. They're all not going to be this long, but every now and again it's nice to do a bit of a longer one. Sit down, have a chat. But I hope that helped you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.